everybody. Welcome to the Glen Kuiper Show on a rainy Monday night in the Bay Area. We got a full show. We're going to bounce around, cover a bunch of different topics tonight. We'll talk about Tony Vitello. We're going to talk about the start of week 2, full workouts down in spring, full squad workouts down in spring training. A lot going on down there. The WBC, we'll look at some of the fun rosters that are going to be in the World Baseball Classic. The ABS Challenge system, it's coming this year. We'll kick that around a little bit. We'll take a look at some things that Ron Washington had to say about Luis Arraez, Giants' new second baseman, and the Giants have a new outfielder. And we will check in on that as well. Now, as you know, the Glen Kuiper Show is brought to you by the Kehrig real estate team, who have been helping families buy and sell homes across the Bay Area with a legacy of client-first service since 1978. So whether you're in the market to buy or sell, the Kehrig real estate team will guide you home. Contact Mike Kehrig today for a free home or purchase consultation. Call 925-548-4132 or go to their website at kehrigteam.com. The Glen Kuiper Show is also brought to you by the good folks at Tilden Properties. By investing in California's multifamily real estate with Tilden Properties, you'll see quarterly dividends and equity buildup in the real estate market. They're Bay Area-based and family-owned. Tilden Properties has been building investment wealth for their clients since 2008. If you are interested in becoming an investor, our family is an investor, call 925-209-8558 or go to their website and look at their portfolio. That's tildenproperties.com. The Glen Kuiper Show is also brought to you by Partners Capital LLC. It's a wealth management firm providing financial strategies for elite performance and lasting peace of mind. With experience dealing with professional athletes as well as the families next door, Partners Capital delivers thoughtful planning, steady guidance, and a clear path forward. It is your partner for a stronger financial future. Call them, Partners Capital LLC at 888-702-7743. We're also brought to you in part by Area Rug Cleaning Direct. It's a subsidiary of Gamble's Flooring. Now, if your area rug needs professional cleaning or repair, Area Rug Cleaning Direct will pick up and return your area rug looking brand new within 5 business days. They're family-owned and proudly serving the Bay Area for over 35 years. Call Area Rug Cleaning Direct at 925-933-9999 for all your area rug needs. So those are our terrific sponsors, and it's time to get our show rolling for tonight. So first full squad workout for the San Francisco Giants was yesterday. Second one was today. Sunshine down there. Not sunny here in the Bay Area as it is rain, and it's going to stay that way. But interesting, Giants will have 6 full squad workouts before their first game, their first exhibition game, and that's coming up. And that should have Giants fans excited. It's your chance to tune in. On Saturday, it'll be the first exhibition game. The Giants will be at the Seattle Mariners. That's up in Peoria. And then on Sunday versus the Chicago Cubs at Scottsdale Stadium. Both those games will be on the radio. Both those games will be on KNBR. It'll be John Miller and Dwayne Kuiper, 2 familiar voices. They're back. And you'll be able to hear those games again on KNBR coming up this weekend on Saturday and Sunday. So that's exciting. We've got some baseball to listen to, even if it is exhibition baseball. But to hear John and Dwayne's voices again, that sort of starts to get you ready for Giants baseball. So that is what is coming up. And I also want to remind you, the big news is that tomorrow on the Glen Kuiper Show, we're going to do an afternoon show. It's going to be a 2 p.m. show. And Buster Posey is going to join us. The president of baseball operations for the San Francisco Giants has been kind enough to join us tomorrow afternoon. We're very excited about that. We'll cover a whole bunch of good stuff with Buster. He's a terrific guy, and we're looking forward to having him on. So make sure you tune into that. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, Buster Posey will be with us. And remember, if you can't see the show live, the show will be on my YouTube channel, the Glen Kuiper Show. You'll be able to find it there if you want to watch it after we do it live. Again, 2 o'clock, Buster will join it. So that is what we have coming up. And we got a fun, busy show tonight. As I said, we're going to cover a bunch of different stuff. But I wanted to start with something that happened today. I thought it was interesting. And I think I wanted to hit on it a little bit. I'm calling it the overreaction alert. It has to do with the Giants manager, Tony Vitello. It was interesting today. Now, remember, he meets with the media every day in spring training. He does in the regular season as well. In spring training, usually around 9 in the morning. Players are starting to come out a little bit. Workouts are not quite getting started yet, but he'll come out, sit in the dugout, meets with the media, mostly local media, but there's some national people there as well. Does it every day, sits, takes questions, answered questions. You've all seen it in clips out there. This happens every day and usually lasts maybe, I'm guessing, 15 minutes, when I'm down there, where we all stand around and listen to him and see if he has anything of interest that we may use or think about or talk about. But anyways, that's what happens. It happens in the regular season, during the pregame at some point. But today it was interesting. He started out kind of the scrum is what we kind of call it. And you could tell he had something on his mind. He didn't seem upset. He just there was something he wanted to maybe get off his chest a little bit. And he kind of posed a little bit of a question. And I'm not going to get too deep into that because I wasn't there. I just, I saw the video, but you could tell something was on his mind. And he kind of was asking the question about, when did the local media members here in San Francisco, when did they actually report that he had taken the San Francisco Giants manager's job? And it sounded like somebody had tweeted out 4 days before he actually accepted the job. And this is what he is saying. That somebody had tweeted out that Vitello was going to become the new Giants manager. And I guess that, he was still coaching his University of Tennessee team. He still had assistant coaches that he was working with, and according to him, he hadn't taken the job yet with the Giants, but this got out and, it made for kind of a tough, he was in a tough spot with his players and his coaches. And anyways, again, this is what, the dilemma was. And I think he was kind of curious to see, when did you guys report this? So it was obviously something that was on his mind. We're talking way back in October, November, early November, when they brought him aboard the Giants. So it had to be something that was on his mind. So he brought it up today, and I thought, it was fine. He was just, it was something I could tell he wanted to maybe get off his chest and see, I need to do this, and then I can kind of move past it. So that he explained it a little bit, and so that's what happened. And that's where, I brought this up before, but the overreaction to stuff like this is just, it just makes me almost chuckle and shake my head. And I know social media is sort of the penthouse for overreaction. And you saw it again today. Not everybody, but there's people out there that, just jumped on this and was like, what is he doing? And there was people out there that I found it to be interesting, where it was like, he needs to stop talking about Tennessee. He's the Giants manager. And here's a guy, he has spent the last 3 months literally flying all over the world. He was in Korea. He was in the Dominican Republic, promoting Giants baseball, visiting his Giants players. We see him all over the city of San Francisco, doing something almost every night for the organization. And, so he's not allowed to mention the University of Tennessee. It just, to me, it's like everybody just needs to we cannot, are we going to overreact to everything that this guy says and does? And if it, and he was calm, he was fine with it. And two, the thing is he obviously was looking for some answers, or maybe he wanted to see, what people were going to say to this, because it's obviously something that was on his mind for a long time. But sometimes the people you're looking for answers for, or maybe like some clarification, sometimes they're not there. But the people he was looking for some clarification from were all right in front of him. So it was an opportunity to say, hey, where were we on this? Because this is what happened. This is when I took the job, but somebody put it out there that 4 days before that I had taken. Anyways, it's a lot to do about nothing. But my point is if it was on his mind that long and he had an opportunity to maybe get it off his chest a little bit, throw it out there, see if he could find anything out. And I'm sure he's going to move past it. But is it really such a big deal to everybody that, he had a question. He had something on his mind. He's allowed to throw it out there. And spring training is probably a good time to do it. So let's not overreact to absolutely everything that Tony Vitello does. If he mentions the University of Tennessee, that's okay. Does that really bother you? It doesn't bother me. I mean, is that worth getting a little worked up over? Stop mentioning where you were from. Now you're the Giant. Okay, I get all that. I just, let's just not, overreact to everything. How about that? So that's my call on a different type of media scrum that happened today that had some people, not everybody had some people in heavy, what I like to call overreaction mode, if that makes any sense. So, all right, let's move off that because quite frankly, I don't really want to talk about that anymore. How about that? So let's move on to some things that are going on down there. So it's week 2 of Giant spring training. And Susan Slusser she writes a lot of good articles. She wrote a kind of fun article about Ron Washington talking about Luis Arraez. And we've kicked the Arraez thing around quite a bit. I'm a backer of Arraez. I think he's going to be a terrific addition. Not everybody feels that way, but I thought it was cool because Ron Washington has been working with him obviously right away. Arraez, he was there last week as well, so Wash has had a chance to really get with him. They're getting after it, and I just want to read some of the excerpts from Susan's article about Washington working with Arraez. Arraez says, quote, 100% I feel better. My footwork, my glove work, everything is better. Ron Washington said he's doing great. He's been here early every day, and he's picking everything up fast. The article says Washington told Arraez to meet him every morning at 9 a.m. for intensive infield work, and that Arraez has shown up each day at 7:30 ready to go. That's a good sign, right? That's a good sign. And Wash said, that tells me Arraez is hungry, and that's the most important thing. And that's what I have been sort of pushing here a little bit on this Arraez thing. And I'm gonna talk to Buster about it tomorrow as well. But if a player at the point in his career that Arraez is at, where he's right in the middle of a very good career, but if he is hungry to improve his game, that makes him a very dangerous player. And I mean, when I say dangerous, I mean that in a positive way, because he's motivated. Okay, you've heard me make this call on Arraez when they sign him. But if you have a 28-year-old who's motivated to make himself a better all-around player because he's seeing that, listen, I'm a better player than people are giving me credit for. So now he's motivated. He's motivated. And now listen, the point is if you're a 36-year-old guy trying to hang on and you're motivated to make yourself a better player, Father Time may have something to say about that, okay? But if you're 28 years old and you got some resume, but you're saying, I need to get better. And then you have a guy like Ron Washington there. That's why you cannot bet against a motivated major league player in the middle of his career. I've said that already numerous times. You guys are probably sick of me saying it, but I'm going to continue to say it. And I'm going to back Arraez on this whole thing. I think the defense is going to be much improved. And I think it's going to turn out to be a really, really good addition. A really good addition because he knows what he wants to get to. He's got the right guy to get with, and that's Ron Washington, to make himself an average to maybe even a little bit above average defender. There's no reason why he can't do that. if you put the work in. And obviously he's doing that, and that's not going to change. Listen, if he's out there every morning at 7:30, he's going to be out there at 7:30 tomorrow. He's going to be out there at 7:30 on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's just the way it goes. But I thought it was important. Just to let. I mean, you guys probably read the article, but I thought it was interesting because I know Ron Washington a little bit. There is no BS here. He's not out there to say the right thing. He's not out there to do anything but tell the truth. He is a no BS guy. You will not find it. You can look all over for it, but there is no BS around Ron Washington. He's going to be honest. He's going to tell you exactly what he sees and exactly what he feels. So if he says something, it's not smoke. If he says something, that's exactly how he feels. And listen, the resume's there for Wash too. He's made a lot of people a lot better. So I think that's good news. I think that's good news for the Giants. I think that's really good news, for Luis Arraez, who, we all hope can make himself into an above average defender or even an average defender. And if he can do that with the way he hits, I think it's just going to be a tremendous addition. I really, really feel that way. So that's the update on Luis Arraez and where he's at with the right guy, and that is Ron Washington. So, all right, next up, the Giants have signed an outfielder, Will Brennan. Interesting. And, this is not some, minor league guy. This is a guy who's been in the big leagues for a couple of years, had some success in the big leagues. And so the Giants signed him. He was with the Guardians, not tendered a contract in November by Cleveland. He missed most of last year with a couple injuries, couple surgeries. So they non-tendered him, and the Giants grabbed him. Now, when I say there's some big league success there, I mean, there is. He's 28 years old. He's a left-handed hitter, plays all three outfield positions from what I remember seeing him on TV. So I know what he looks like a little bit. The reports are that he's kind of a gamer, plays very hard. But last year it was a left elbow surgery. It was sports hernia surgery. So he really played very little, but he has played 269 big league games in his career. So this is a guy who's got some time in, mostly in right field. He did play center field in the minors, but he has played center field in the big leagues, but most of his big league time has been in right field. But in 2023, he was close to being a regular for Cleveland. He played 138 games, hit 265, 5 home runs, 24 doubles. He's not a guy that has a huge amount of power. He's not a huge power hitter. He played in 114 games in 24 and then missed a lot of last year, as we said. But he's a proven major league outfielder, and he has the metrics that the Giants are pushing for. Doesn't strike out a lot. His strikeout percentage in his career is 12.7. And if you're not sure about the numbers, that's very, very good. The major league average for strikeout percentage is 22.5. That's the major league average. So he's well below that. So he puts the ball in play. He's not going to walk a lot. He's not going to strike out a lot. But he's got bat to ball skills, which the Giants are trying to add more of those guys to offset some of the high strikeout guys. So that's another reason why I'm sure the Giants like him. So anyways, he's got a shot at the fourth outfielder spot. And listen, it's competition, and that's what this is all about. You can't hand Drew Gilbert the job. We don't know if Drew, I like Drew Gilbert. I've said it before. He's a terrific defensive outfielder. I think he's a major league center fielder defensively. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But we don't know about his offense. Small sample size last year at the big league level. Not enough to make a full judgment. He hit 190, low on base percentage. But again, 109 plate appearance. That's not enough, to make a full grade. But it could be that maybe the Giants see Gilbert that somebody who just needs a little more offensive seasoning in the minor leagues. That's possible. Maybe they feel like Brennan's further along. Brennan's a major leaguer, whereas Gilbert's still trying to get there, if that makes any sense. So, that's where Brennan comes into this fourth outfielders mix. You you have Luis Matos and Encarnacion who are out of options. That means if they don't make the team, they're going to get offered. Anybody can take them. So that's going to be something to keep a close eye on too. But I think just adding a little outfield depth, because you could lose both Matos and Encarnacion. And when I say depth, you're also talking about depth at the upper minor league level, where if you need a guy because of an injury, you can go get a guy. So it's not just depth at the big league level; it's really depth at the high minor league level, specifically AAA. But you have it; it's possible you could lose Matos and Encarnacion because of being out of option. Now, Brennan and Gilbert both have options left, so they could get sent down. So we just don't know what's going to happen. But this outfield, this battle for what I see is just one extra outfield spot. I don't know that there could be two. I mean, there could be. We don't know yet. We're not into spring training far enough. But yeah. So now you have an extra quality outfielder in this mix for what looks like the fourth outfielder spot. And I think what's going to be kind of fun in spring training, and if you're going down there and like I am, it'll give us all something to kind of watch for. And we're going to talk about the WBC here in a little bit, but the Giants are going to lose Ramos, they're going to lose Bader, and they're going to lose Jung-Hoo Lee to the WBC. And we don't know how long they're going to be gone, but they're going to be gone for a while, depending on how far their national team goes. That's your starting outfield. There's no questions about that. If they're healthy, that's your starting outfield. So you're going to be without your starting outfield for maybe a week, maybe 10 days. But what that's going to do is that's going to give these guys an opportunity to get out there and play. We'll find out what Brennan's all about. We'll find out, are we seeing anything new with Matos or Encarnacion? Grant McCray. And then these young guys, which I'm excited about. Bo Davidson, Parks Harbor. Parks Harbor's the kid. Big, strong right-handed hitter, got him from the Yankees, had a really good year. And the Giants are trying to get him comfortable as an outfielder. So these are all fun things to watch in spring training. That's what makes spring training great, because you're not super concerned about the outcome of every game. But what you can do is you can see kids that you read about. And I haven't seen Parks Harbor. I've seen highlights. I haven't seen Bo Davidson. I've seen highlights. Well, now we're going to see these guys. They're going to play a lot. So the three starting outfielders being gone in the WBC. No, you don't like your starters to be gone, but it does happen. And in this case, it's going to give these guys that I'm talking about, who are battling for maybe just one extra outfield spot, and the younger guys, to show what they're all about. They're going to get a chance, I think, to play more, and that's a good thing. That's exciting to me, and I'm looking forward to seeing them. But the new guy is Will Brennan, again, a left-handed hitter, not a real big guy, 5'11". He's strong and plays with some spunk and some edge, from what we're being told by the Giants, which is good. And again, a couple decent years in the big league. So this is not some minor league guy who's wandering around looking for a job. This is a legitimate big league outfielder, maybe more of a platoon player. I don't know, but we're going to get a good look at him. So that's your new guy, Will Brennan, and we'll see if he is, we'll see if he's on the opening day roster. It's certainly possible. All right, so let's move on, and then let's check with our comments. We got some comments coming in from our great viewers, as always. So you know what I like to. Right, let's see. Okay. All right. These media members care more about clicks and trying to stir things up. Well, I'm not trying to criticize anybody. Clicks are a thing. I mean, you're right there. I can't deny that. Listen, we've all done it, and unfortunately, it's a thing now. But a big story like that, who's going to be the next Giants manager? I mean, people want to be the first one to throw that out there. But clicks are a thing of the past, or a thing of the past. I wish that they're here to stay, unfortunately. So, anyways, I'm sure the players love what Tony V did. It's time to check these beat writers. Well, again, it's not, and I get what you're saying, Eddie, and I don't want to, we're not criticizing anybody. And it may have been, I don't know who put it out there 4 days early, if that indeed did happen. We don't even know what happened, but I know these beat writers, they're good people and they work hard and they're really good at what they do. There are some, there's people in social media who, they are looking for a little clickbait. Giants beat writers, pretty solid. I have to be honest with you. Pretty solid. All right, let's see. Bake That Dough checking in. Can't have a show without Bake That Dough. That was pretty good. I just thought of that. Can't have a show without Bake That Dough. Dwayne on KNBR wondering if the Giants still acquire Arraez if Washington isn't on the coaching staff. That's a good question. I would say yes. I think they would, but having him is such a treat. And I just, I talk about it a lot. Giants have talked about it a lot. Media members have talked about it a lot. I don't know that fans will ever know just how important he can be to an organization because you're not necessarily around him all the time. But trust me, it is a big deal that he's here. So it probably had something to do with it. I don't want to speak for Arraez, but it's a nice little mix. It's a nice little marriage for those two. And if you're Arraez, you look at Ron Washington and say, this guy could turn me into a better all-around player in the middle of my career. That's a big deal. That's a really, really big deal. So, all right, let's SF West Bay Area. Arraez will improve with everything. To be honest, if he can improve on just his defense, I wouldn't mind an extension next offseason. We're going to need his contact hitting abilities for more than 1 year. Well, we'll see how that goes. We'll take it 1 year at a time. But there's no reason why he can't put together a really, really good year. I just really think he's going to make a significant difference. I really do. All right. Coach Code says that looked extremely bad from Tony. I'm sorry. Why are we still talking about Tennessee? Us in the Bay Area don't care about SEC baseball. We care about Giants winning. Okay, my point is if the guy says the University of Tennessee, let's not all lose our minds. It's really okay. It was an important part of his life. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. He's not, he trust me, he's here to turn this thing around. Believe me. But let's just not get so worked up if he mentions a place that was very important to him and that really built his career. That's my point. Is Brennan supposed to return here in spring training or sometime else in the season? No, he's healthy. It's a good question. And maybe I didn't make that very clear. But yeah, he did have surgery. But from what I know, Zach Managian talked about it, that he's good to go. He's good to go. So from everything we know, he's 100%. And, he's there. So that should not be injury should not be an issue there. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Pack 84 says Brennan probably takes Mato's spot. Maybe. I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, the Matos thing is different because he's out of options. And you don't just want to give away, a talented kid who just has had some trouble kind of putting it all together. But there could be a trade too, I mean, that's a possibility here too. So let's, we're going to move on to our next, but good questions, good comments. I appreciate you guys. Let's get to some of the happening, a couple things going on in the National League West that I want to hit on, get you guys' thoughts on that. Arizona, the Diamondbacks, and we like to concentrate on the National League West, obviously. Arizona brings back Zach Gallen. Very good pitcher. Gallen was a free agent, threw himself out there, must have not got the offers he liked. So he goes back to Arizona on a 1-year, $22 million deal. So the predictions on Zach Gallen were way off. I mean, there was people had him getting, 3 for 60, 5 for 100. I saw a couple times. And again, these are just predictions, so nobody really knows. But Gallen is 33 years old, had a little bit of a down year last year, but he's still very good. He's a very, very good starting pitcher. He was good in the second half. But he had a qualifying offer attached to him. You guys know what that's all about. If a team offers you the qualifying offer, you can accept it. And he basically ended up getting the same amount as the qualifying offer. But if you have a qualifying offer attached to you, what Gallen did, then the team that signs you, unless you're the Diamondbacks in this case, the team that signs you is going to lose a couple draft picks. So, and they lose some international slot pool money. So it's not a good thing. It's weird because the qualifying offer, you could accept it and you're going to get $22 million. That's not terrible. But if you don't accept it, you don't accept it because you feel like you're going to get a 2 or 3 or 4 year deal. And we don't know what kind of offers Gallen had out there, but you see why the qualifying offer is not popular with the players union. It's something that they want to get rid of because this fact that if you sign a guy with a qualifying offer, you always you're going to have to give up a couple draft picks. It always affects a couple guys every year. You can look back. There's always a couple guys that it just affects. And this year it was Zach Gallen. But you can only have a qualifying offer attached to you one time. So next year, Zach Gallen, now he'll be a little bit older. But if he has a good year, and listen, Diamondbacks are a nice team. He's a good pitcher. He'll be up in age. He'll be 34, but he's still a quality pitcher. He will not have that qualifying offer attached to him. So he will enter free agency again, nothing attached, a year older. But if he puts together a really good year, he will end up getting, that 2 or 3 year deal that, maybe he wanted this year, but didn't get because he's a good pitcher. But the important thing from a Giants perspective is he goes back to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So now the Diamondbacks, I remember kind of going over their off-season preview, maybe back in November, December, and there were a lot of reports that they were going to try to cut back on payroll a little bit. I mean, that was what they said. Their owner had come out and said that. But it turns out they really did. They kept Ketel Marte. They have a really, really good middle of the order with Perdomo and Marte and Corbin Carroll, who may miss a little time early, but they get Nolan Arenado, and now their pitching staff. Remember, they bring back Merrill Kelly. Kelly was with them. They traded him at the deadline, and then they brought him back. That's as good as you're going to get, right? But they bring Kelly back, and now you have Gallen, you have Rodriguez, a couple of young guys in Brandon Pfaadt and Ryan Nelson, and I'm talking about your rotation here. Bullpen is still a little bit questionable, but the point is the Diamondbacks bringing back Kelly and then getting Gallen. The Gallen thing's a big deal because he's sort of the glue now. And remember, Corbin Burns is supposed to come back mid-season. So that's what the Diamondbacks have done recently, and I think they're pretty happy with where they're at now. So they're going to be fighting with the Giants. You know that. I mean, that's what happens. So anyways, Gallen's back. Padres did a few interesting things this week. Up until this really had pretty quiet off season, if you think about it. But his team won 90 games last year, went to the postseason. A lot of talent. But they bring in Nick Castellanos, who had the weird thing with the Phillies that just wasn't happening. It was over. Whatever. But they bring him in, and they don't have to pay him anything. Really, they pay him the minimum. He still gets $20 million from the Phillies, so he'll get paid from the Phillies $20 million to play for the Padres. It's good to be Nick Castellanos. But he's going to play some first base, right-handed bat, still got some pop. They bring in Miguel Andujar, another right-handed hitting bat. And then today they brought in Ty France. I always liked Ty France. I thought he was a pretty good hitter. But Ty France comes in, another right-handed bat. They signed Griffin Canning, a right-handed pitcher. So the Padres doing some things late here as spring training gets started. And they're going to get Joe Musgrove back, which is a big deal. Remember, he missed all last year because they have to replace Darvish and Dylan Cease in the rotation. So, anyways, a few moves by the Padres. We'll see if that spins their needle in the positive direction at all. But we know them; they're a good team. They're a good team. So, and lastly, I wanted to throw out the Verlander thing, which happened. It's might happen over the weekend, I think. But I thought it was a big deal. He goes back to Detroit. Probably the more you think about it, it makes a ton of sense, right? They got a really good team. They could use that one veteran guy. A lot of excitement there. So it's good. I'm glad that he's probably going to a spot where I think he really wanted to go back to. But he's 43 years old, his 21st year in the big leagues for Justin Verlander. Very, very impressive. And we got to see him last year. It was kind of fun seeing this future first ballot Hall of Famer in a Giants uniform. And he was a little bit of a hot button topic, but he really pitched pretty well. He made 29 starts for the Giants last year. You think about guys get to 30 starts now. You're like, that's awesome. He made 29 starts for the Giants. That's pretty damn good. He only won 4 games, but the ERA was 3.85, 152 innings pitched. He was the hard luck guy. I think we can all agree on that. Can we not? That Justin Verlander was the hard luck pitcher for the Giants last year. He probably realistically should have won 8 or 9 games. I think that's fair, but he only won 4. So he finishes this season. He goes into this season with 266 career wins. So 34 away from 300. I know he wants that. I don't know that he's going to get it. I think realistically, for him to get 34 wins, he probably needs to pitch 3 full years. I think that's fair, right? Get 12 wins a year. Can he pitch 3 more years? I don't know. But why wouldn't you want to go for it, right? There's not going to be a lot of pitchers getting 300 wins anymore. It may never happen again. I'm telling you. Take a look sometime at Baseball Reference and look at the wins leaders, and you tell me when the next guy is going to win 300 games. We may not see it, if you know what I mean. Do it for good, fun baseball chatter. There's nobody close except Verlander. There's nobody playing right now that's going to get it. And there's nobody, it's going to be a long time. So you know what? I'm pulling for him. I hope he gets it. I like Verlander. He joined Skubal and now Framber Valdez, and you got Verlander, and you got Casey Mize. You got the Flaherty, Jack Flaherty's with them. So they got a nice rotation now, do the Tigers. So good. You know what? Verlander, let's wish him the best of luck. I hope, I hope he pulls it off. But anyway, so that's kind of some fun notes that were going out there. Couple of National League West things that wanted to hit on because we like to keep a close eye on the National League West. All right, next up, the WBC. Now we got to start thinking about this, folks. We got to start thinking about it. Whether you like it or not, I don't know. It's starting to grow on me. At first I was like, okay, but now it's kind of cool. Giants will have 8 players participating in the WBC. Now, I was told that those guys will be leaving the Giants to go participate, practice, work out with their respective national teams on March 1st. So that's what? That's still, what do we got? That's a little less than a couple weeks away. So you got really 2 weeks here with the Giants and then gone for what would be a maximum of 2 weeks. I think if you made it all the way to the finals, it would be 2 weeks. So this right now, what's going on right now in spring training is an important 2 weeks. And, we're talking about the Giants because you're going to have your whole team together and then you're going to lose some guys for different periods of time. But we'll be into it, we'll certainly be into it, the WBC, and we'll keep an eye on the Giants guys that are playing. But I glanced at a couple of the rosters just for fun. And it's only a couple of them. So it was the ones that sort of jumped out. Team USA it's fun. It's fun. Listen to these names on the Team USA roster. Bryce Harper, Bryce Terang, the second baseman from Milwaukee, who's really good. Alex Bregman, Cal Raleigh, Will Smith, Byron Buxton, Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Schwarber, Aaron Judge, Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson. How'd you like to make out that lineup? How'd you like to do Mark DeRosa and kind of look at that to figure out who's going to hit where? And this is where, most baseball people think Team USA may have the advantage is Paul Skeens, Tarek Skubal, Logan Webb. Those are the top three pitchers. They got more guys, trust me. But think about that. They're going to tee it up with Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal, the two Cy Young Award winners. How awesome is that? So that's our Team USA. But the Dominican Republic team is like ridiculous, right? And so, and Puerto Rico's got and Venezuela's got a terrific lineup, but it's the star power on the Dominican Republic is very, very impressive. Okay, listen to these names. Vladimir Guerrero, Ketel Marte, Junior Caminero, Manny Machado, O'Neill Cruz, Julio Rodriguez, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, Perdomo, the shortstop in Arizona, Jeremy Pena, the shortstop with the Astros. Think about that group. Think about that group. Now, how do you put together that lineup? So I thought it was fun just looking at it. But like I said, Team Japan has won 3 of the World Baseball Classics. Nobody else has won more than 1. And we didn't even mention them, and they got the greatest player on the planet in Shohei Ohtani. And Team Japan is fun to watch. They fundamentals, they know how to play the game. They don't make mistakes. That's why they've won this thing 3 times. So anyways, but again, Venezuela's got a terrific lineup. Puerto Rico's got a terrific lineup. Alec Ramos is going to play for them. So it's fun. So you know what? I think I'm going to get into it. And Team USA, with all these names, are actually practicing at the Giants minor league complex at Popco Park for a couple days down in Scottsdale. So that's pretty cool. And then Team USA plays the San Francisco Giants in an exhibition game, and that is on February. It's on March 3rd. It's Tuesday, March 3rd. Team USA plays the Giants at Scottsdale Stadium. How great is that? So, anyways, fun stuff. Trying to get everybody a little bit excited about the WBC because that will be here before you know it. So, anyways, keep you updated on that. And we're going to finish the show tonight. And again, I'm getting you ready. Okay. Are you ready for the ABS Challenge System this year? Because on Saturday, when you're sitting there listening to Dwayne and John on KNBR, and it's the Giants and the Seattle Mariners, you may get an ABS challenge. Okay. I think I'm kind of ready for it. Now, we saw it last year. Okay. And I'm going to go over a few things just so everybody knows what it's all about. I'm certainly not an expert on it. I need to know. I did a lot of reading on it, so I need to know. But it's, spring training, it's here. And when that Giants take the field against the Yankees that first night at Oracle Park, it's in play, baby. It's in play. What's going to happen? What are teams going to do? How are they going to do it? Who are they going to let do it? It's going to be great. So, you know it. Each team gets 2 challenges. Keep the challenges if you're successful, okay? Extra innings. This is interesting. Keep this in mind. In extra innings, the team will be awarded the challenge if it has none remaining entering that extra inning. So if it's the 10th inning and the Giants are out of challenges, they will get one in the 10th inning, and then they'll get one for the 11th inning. They're not going to accumulate them, but you'll always have one in extra innings. If you get to extra innings and you have one left, then you got one left. You're not going to get an extra one, but in extra innings, each team will always have at least one, and they may have two left over from 9 innings. Does that make any sense? So it's called Hawkeye technology, and this is kind of fun stuff here, folks. It's a unique strike zone for every hitter. So that's different than the box that we see on TV. It is. The box we see on TV, it's the same. Okay? It's the same for every hitter. It's there for TV. It's there for your viewing. Okay? But the difference here is each hitter, from Aaron Judge to Jose Altuve, those are two extremes, but they will each have their own unique strike zone. So that's a big deal, right? So it's not the same strike zone for every. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. So this is where it's fun. So this is how they figure out the unique strike zone for each hitter. The top of the zone. Now follow me on this because it can get confusing. The top of the zone, top of the strike zone, is 53.5% of the player's height. Okay? Does that make sense? Top of the strike zone is 53.5% of the player's height. That'll be the top of the player's strike zone. Okay? Now, the bottom of the zone, okay? How are they figuring that out? Well, it's 27% of the player's height. Okay? Does that make sense? So that's how they're doing it. So it's based on, if Aaron Judge is, 6'7", well, it's 53.5% of 6'7" for Aaron Judge. That's the top of his strike zone. Okay? 27% of the player's height for the bottom of the strike zone. Does that make sense? The plate, it's 17 inches wide. It's always been 17 inches wide. That's the width of home plate. That's the width of the strike zone. Okay, that's pretty simple. This is somewhat interesting to me. Pitch location is measured at the midpoint between the front and the back of home plate. Okay. And I say that's interesting because when we see it, and this animation is different than, again, the one we see on TV, where a lot of times you see the ball entering, some type of graphic on the screen, and it shows where it is at the front of home plate, at the beginning of home plate. So if it just catches, the front of home plate, oh, that's strike. Well, this is a little bit different because, again, I want to say it again. Pitch location is measured at the midpoint between the front and the back of home plate. Okay? So instead of the ball coming through the front, oh, it's in the strike zone. Yeah, it's strike. No, it has to be in the strike zone at the midway point. Okay, does that make sense? And then this is the final thing that I want to throw out there. And to me, it's the most interesting thing. And it has to do with what is the strategy going to be? What strategies are teams going to use? Because you have to have some type. You have to have some. Who can call it? When are you going to do it? You're going to save it. Don't do anything until the late innings unless the bases are loaded. Who knows? There's going to be, each team is going to have some type of criteria, probably somewhat lengthy criteria for how they're going to use this system. Okay? That to me is going to be fascinating. It'd be great to see how the Giants go about it. I don't think anybody has decided anything. Let's go through spring training and learn some more. And then we'll put this together. You may have a team of people. Hey, work on that. Let's figure out the best way to do this from a strategy standpoint. But here's the thing that I found to be somewhat interesting. Last spring, it was used in half the ballparks, the system. There were 288 spring training games where the ABS challenge system was used last year. So that's a pretty good sample size to get your information on, at least to start with. And so the three positions that can ask for a challenge. Boom, boom. You tap your helmet, right? Or your hat. Catcher, pitcher, and hitter. Those are the only three people that can ask for a challenge, and they have to do it right away. They can't be looking around, looking at that. No. You got to do it right away. Boom. Okay. Here's what I found to be super interesting. And I ask you guys, who do you think of those three had the best success rate? Okay. I'm going to tell you. Catchers, 56%, they were correct on their challenges. Okay. Hitters, 50% success rate on their challenges. Now, here's the interesting one. Pitchers, 41% success rate on their challenges. So, the data from last spring training, again, 288 games. So that's quite a bit. Catchers had the best success rate. Hitters were 50-50, and pitchers had significantly lower success rate at 41%. So I think you have to use those numbers and see what kind of numbers maybe they get this year. Will they be similar to that? My guess is they may be similar, but we got to find out. And then you got to kind of put them together, and this is where teams are going to have to decide. But were you surprised that the catcher had the highest rate? Were you surprised that the pitcher had the lowest rate? And what would you do with that? What would you do with that? Would you make it per player? Meaning, hey, that guy's got a good eye. I'm going to let him do it if he wants. That pitcher's got a pretty good head on his shoulders. He's not going to get overheated if it's a close call. I'm okay with him. Or do you think the catcher still has the best idea if it was a strike? I think just from the game itself, I think the catcher probably has the best feel for whether it was a strike or not. The pitcher's always going to want it to be a strike, and the hitter's always going to want it to be a ball. Can that cause them to overreact? I don't know. I mean, maybe we're looking too deep into this. So be curious to see, like, think about that. How would you go about it? Like, what's the best way to go about it? So I want to finish on that, but then I wanted to get some comments because I think it's interesting, and it's going to be something that we haven't heard a lot about yet this spring because they haven't played any games. But as this gets closer to the regular season and more information and more data comes out from spring training, I think that, teams have to start thinking, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do? What's our strategy? And then if that strategy is not working, this is weird. It's not working. Our success rate's under 50% as a team. So anyways, let's check some comments. I mean, I'm curious to see what you guys, let's see. I liked it. I like when people just say hi. Anthony says, hey, what's up, Glenn? All good here, Anthony. Thank you for checking in. Okay. Bake That Dough says, not thrilled about Webb, and we're talking about joining the WBC here, who already has a ton of mileage, having to ramp up this fast early on. I'm sure the Giants feel. I think they feel a little bit. Yeah, they feel that way a little bit. But, I just don't think you can deny somebody a chance to play for his country. Because it really truly is an honor, and everybody that does it said it's unbelievable. So yeah, I think you have to kind of grin and bear it a little bit if you're an organization, and you have to let a guy do it, and you have to hope that he knows himself well enough to say, okay, But yeah, I'm with you. We'll hold our breath, but we also wish Logan the best, and we know he's going to have quite an experience. Kyle says, how's Bailey going to adapt to framing? I see cheating to get the hitters to make calls, but framing was his last quality because he can't hit. Well, I don't think the framing thing is going to be impacted as much as a lot of people think it will be. Remember, there's only two challenges, and if you lose one, then you're going to be, oh man, what if we needed it in the ninth inning, right? So And remember this with Bailey. He said something to me in spring training. I sat him down for a really nice interview last year. And he was talking about pitch framing. And we've all talked about this a lot with Bailey, but he made a great point, Kyle. He said, people always think pitch framing is just turning balls into strikes. And he said, it's just as much making sure strikes get called strikes. Okay. So I thought that was interesting. He said, it's just as important and it happens just as much in a game. So you want to make sure that strikes get called strikes. Because then there's no way you can lose a challenge, right? So, I just don't know that this challenge system is going to take away any of Bailey's attributes when it comes to framing, because he's terrific at it. He's the best at it. Everybody backs it up. The numbers back it up. So I'm not really concerned about it. I'm really not. He's going to be just fine. Continue doing what you're doing and keep getting, and you know what? Get strikes, make sure they're called strikes, and then sneak one in once in a while. And you know what? If you lose a challenge because you framed one, you pull it back, then you lose a challenge. It's okay. So I just don't think it's a really a huge deal, but it's a very good question. Let's see. Kyle says it's every hitter's size and dimension. Yeah, I explained that. Yeah, perfect example. Judge to Altuve. I mean, yeah, that's just, yeah, it's the perfect comparison. Okay, but yeah, it's pretty amazing, the technology. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's gonna be something different. It's gonna be fun. Let's see if there's any. Here's a good one. Kyle says, Brandon Belt would totally destroy the system. It's sad we will never see it. He could be a home plate umpire immediately. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. It's like, so if you're the Giants team and you had Brandon Belt on it, would you say, listen, he knows the strike zone so well, we're gonna let him, if he wants to challenge, he can challenge. See, that's my point. Will it be player per player? Like you can, you can't. That's a little weird, right? I don't know. We'll see. But that's to me is one of the really, really fun things about this is how are teams going to adapt and how are they going to strategize the right thing to do. So anyways, it's good stuff. And I'm looking forward to it. But then again, I'm looking forward to baseball, as you guys all know, as you guys are. So, and we got a game. Man. How about that? We got a game on Saturday on KMBR with Dwayne and John. That is awesome. So anyways, that's it for tonight's show. I tried to cover a whole bunch of fun stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. And remember, tomorrow at 2:00, we will be joined by President of Baseball Operations for the San Francisco Giants, Buster Posey. And we're looking forward to it. We thank Buster a lot for coming on. But yeah, we're going to cover a whole bunch of stuff with the main man for the Giants, see how he's feeling about this team so far after really just less than 2 weeks of spring training. So that'll be tomorrow, 2:00. Make sure you join us for that. But I appreciate everybody again. We're closing in on the 2026 San Francisco Giants season. It's not far away, folks. March 25th. Is that right? Is it the 25th? Yeah, it's the 25th. The Yankees will be at Oracle Park. That is not far off. So thanks again. Thanks to all the subscribers. Keep subscribing. I appreciate that. Great comments tonight. You guys are part of the show, and you know that. And I always try to make sure that you guys get your comments in. So that'll do it. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 2:00 with the one and only Buster Posey. Make sure you join us for that. All right, let's wrap up the show by telling you that the Glen Kuiper Show is brought to you by the Kehrig Real Estate Team. Whether you're in the market to buy a new home or sell your existing home, the Kehrig Real Estate Team is the group to guide you home. Give them a call at 925-548-4132. Ask for Mike. He's going to give you a free home sale or purchase consultation. KehrigTeam.com is the website. Please check it out. We're also brought to you in part by Tilden Properties. You'll see quarterly dividends and equity buildup in the real estate market by investing with Tilden Properties when they purchase California's multifamily real estate. We've done it. Trust me, these people take great care of their investors. They're Bay Area-based, family-owned. Tilden Properties has been building investment wealth for their clients since 2008. Go to their website at tildenproperties.com and take a look at their portfolio. It is very impressive. That is tildenproperties.com. We're also brought to you in part by Partners Capital LLC, with experience guiding professional athletes as well as the families right next door. Partners Capital delivers thoughtful planning, steady guidance, and a clear path forward financially. Partners Capital, your partner for a stronger financial future. With questions, call them at 1-888-702-7743. Glen Kuiper Show also brought to you in part by Area Rug Cleaning Direct. It's a subsidiary of Gamble's Flooring. They're family-owned and proudly serving the Bay Area for over 35 years. Call Area Rug Cleaning Direct at 925-933-9999. What they will do is they will come pick up your area rug, clean it, and bring it back to you within 5 business days. Isn't that what you want? Great service, done quickly. You'll get that with Area Rug Cleaning Direct. Thanks to all the sponsors. Thanks to the viewers. And thanks to everybody for being part of the Glen Kuiper Show. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock with Buster Posey as our special guest. Have a good one, everybody.